You can't just build a cabin wherever you feel like it. That's what she yelled before storming off. I was on my own property. Actually, scratch that, I was on my mountain. I bought this remote 60-acre plot to get away from HOA insanity, or so I thought, but somehow Karen found me. She wasn't a neighbor, she wasn't even a resident of the mountain, but she claimed she was president of the local HOA. And she came armed with clipboards, petty rules, and the audacity of someone who'd never been told no in her life. Then one morning, I heard footsteps crunching on the gravel. I looked out my window, coffee in hand, and saw blue and red lights. She'd actually called the cops on me. For unauthorized construction. At my own off-grid cabin. That's when I walked outside, pointed toward the ridgeline, and calmly said, "Officer, I own the whole mountain." But Karen wasn't done, not even close. She didn't just want to stop my build, she wanted me gone. What she didn't know was, I wasn't just some cabin guy with a beard and a truck. I had receipts, legal rights, and a plan that would turn her entire fantasy HOA kingdom into a pile of smoldering pine needles. Stick around. The takedown? Let's just say the mountain gets the last word. I'd been looking for land for years. Not just any land, somewhere remote, high altitude, away from the noise. I found it tucked away in the Rockies, 60 acres of untouched pine forest with a winding dirt road that barely showed up on satellite. It was perfect, no utilities, no service, no nosy neighbors, or so I thought. I bought the land outright, title clean, zoning good, all legal. I planned to build a small off-grid cabin. Solar panels, wood stove, composting toilet, the works, just a simple life. 3 months into the build, things were going smoothly. Until a Subaru with coexist and neighborhood watch stickers showed up at the bottom of my private road. Enter Karen. Real name Diane Keller. Mid-50s, manicured nails even in hiking boots, and a tone like she was always on the verge of calling the manager. "Hi, I'm the head of the Timber Trails HOA," she announced, as if that meant anything here. I blinked. "Timber Trails is 8 miles east. This is Pine Hollow." "Oh, sweetie," she said, patting her clipboard. "The HOA boundaries are expanding. We voted." She looked past me, toward my half-built cabin. That structure might violate our aesthetic guidelines. I just stared. She pulled out her phone and started snapping photos. "You'll need to submit those plans for approval," she added. "We can't have unapproved developments ruining the mountain's character." That was the moment I realized she wasn't confused. She was delusional. I shut the gate. That should have been it. But a week later, she was back, with a warning notice duct taped to a tree. Unauthorized construction, cease and desist. HOA violation number 74. Handwritten, on printer paper. I laughed. I shouldn't have, because that was just the beginning. The next few weeks turned into a circus. First came the fines. Envelopes appeared at my property line stuffed in Ziploc bags like twisted trail mix. Each one had a made-up violation and a dollar amount written in red ink. $300 excessive woodpile height. $150 unauthorized vehicle access. $500 cabin color not an HOA palette. I ignored them. Then the sabotage started. My trail camera caught her pulling up signs, my signs, then replacing them with HOA branded markers. She posted fake speed limit signs, 8 miles per hour strictly enforced. She even left a brochure titled, "Join Our Community, Harmony Through Regulation." But the most unhinged moment? She set up a HOA welcome booth. I kid you not. A folding table at the bottom of the road with balloons, a banner, and stacks of paperwork. When I stopped to ask what she was doing, she handed me a pen and said, "Sign here to acknowledge HOA membership and pay your dues." I said, "You do know this land isn't in your HOA, right?" She smiled. "Yet." She called the county, she called zoning. She even tried calling my bank, except oops, I paid in cash. That's when the cops showed up. 2 deputies, calm, curious. "Sir, we had a report of unpermitted construction and possible squatting." I walked them up to the ridge, pulled out the title deed, and pointed across the valley. "From that creek bed to that peak, all mine." They looked stunned. One of them chuckled. "Yeah, we're good here." But Karen wasn't done. She tried to sue me in small claims court for damages to community cohesion. The judge barely kept a straight face. Case dismissed in under 5 minutes. That's when I decided I wasn't just going to ignore her. I was going to end her little empire. First, I called the actual Timber Trails HOA. Turns out she'd been removed from their board 2 years ago for harassment. They were mortified she was still claiming authority. Then I filed a report with the sheriff. Trespassing, harassment, fraudulent claims. They issued a formal warning. She ignored it. So I got creative. I built a 12-foot wooden sign at the base of my road. Private property not affiliated with any HOA, trespassers will be buried with HOA paperwork. People started stopping to take pictures. I posted footage of her booth to Reddit. It went viral. Comments poured in. Plot twist, the mountain evicts her. This is why I live in a van. Karen's final form unlocked. Then came the drone footage. I hired a licensed drone pilot to do a flyover of my entire property, showing the clear boundary lines, my legal structures, and her walking onto my land. I sent the footage to the county, the sheriff, and the actual HOA. The fallout? Glorious. She was fined by the county for erecting signage on private land without permission. She was served a cease and desist, and the Timber Trails HOA sent her a final letter. If she used their name again, they'd sue her. But the final cherry on top? I hosted a Freedom from HOA barbecue on the Ridge. All the off-grid neighbors came. Turns out we were all hiding from some version of her. We grilled, we laughed, and we signed a petition to get her flagged as a nuisance citizen. The last time I saw her, she was dragging her folding table back to her Subaru, muttering about ungrateful mountain folk. I waved. "Don't forget your balloons," I said. She flipped me off with a sunburnt middle finger. These days, the cabin's done. Solar's humming, the snow's melting, and the only rules out here? Respect the land, respect each other, and no Karens allowed. What did I learn? That peace sometimes means building higher walls and bigger signs. That fantasy HOAs only work until someone reads a zoning map, and that mountains may be silent, but they're never passive. Comment, justice served if you made it this far. And tell me, what would you have done if Karen came clipboarding up your driveway? Would you build the sign or add a moat? Let me know below, and remember, buy the land, build the cabin, and never let a fake HOA president tell you otherwise.